Hello, good afternoon, everybody. It's a very beautiful Monday and happy holiday, especially to all Americans who are enjoying today's holiday. It's also a very beautiful weather outside. And welcome to another edition of the EB2 National Interest Waiver Green Card. My name is Daniel Aniniba. I'm your host for today also. And I'm very much happy. I say greetings to all our viewers, both far and near, who are following our trainings, our programs, to make sure that they are able to file their own green card from every part of the world without any hesitation at all, without any obstacles. So that is what we have been doing to serve you all this while. So that is it. I'm so happy for all of you. I'm so happy for our viewers from South Africa, our viewers from Pakistan, our viewers from other great areas, Venezuela, and all the people watching us from all distant places. We are happy to serve you, and we also are happy to be with you. So at this moment, we are going to go straight to today's episode to look at what we are going to look today. Today is on the application of your field of endeavor to the United States, and I'm going to elaborate on this shortly. So without wasting my time, let me first pull up, let me pull this one. Pull our slides so that we can go over it and see what we are going to do today. So like I said, for today, we are still this part of a training series called the EB2 National Interest Waiver Green Card. And like I said, this green card is for people both in the United States or out of the United States who are looking to apply for green card on their own to come to the United States to live and work permanently in the United States. It's an employment-based visa. It's not a family-based green card. It's an employment-based green card. So once you get it, you are free to work in your employment without any restriction or anything of that sort. So it's just a permanent residence, a green card, which is given to you based on your skills, based on your education, or even at times based on your work experience, if it's applicable to you. So let's take note of that. We started this training series with previous videos. If you have not watched it, please go back, watch them, and make sure that you have all the information you need to be able to apply for your own green card. Yeah, so today we are going to look at proving applicability to the United States. So the applicability of your research or your professional field to the United States. Like I said last week, this is not only for researchers. If you're in a professional field and you can document work experience in it, it's also very great. You don't have to be a PhD. You don't have to strictly be a master's degree holder to apply. So if you're in a good professional field and you think that your field and your skills, whatever work you do, will benefit the United States, you are equally eligible to apply. Nothing should stop you from applying. So that is it. And today we are, like I said, we are looking at proving applicability to the United States. And this is episode 4C. Episode 4C. Once again, if you have not subscribed, I will tell you, please try and subscribe to our channel because there are great information we'll be sharing as we are going forward. Even beyond EB2, there are a lot of great programs and information we'll be sharing concerning immigration, concerning schooling in the United States, and concerning a whole lot of stuff. Now, before I always do, I always have to have a recap of whatever I did or we went through last week. Last week was an interesting episode where we were looking at chapter 2 of your petition. When you are applying for your green card, it's a whole petition you are drafting, like a thesis type or let's say a project work. So you are going to divide them into chapters. And we have already looked at chapter 1 in our previous videos. We also began looking at chapter 2, and in chapter 2 we started with intrinsic merit and national importance. That chapter is dedicated for that particularly. And what is intrinsic merit? We came to understand that intrinsic merit means you are explaining why you do your research, even to the society, even to the world at large. Why do you do your research that you do? What is the importance of your research? That is what we call the merit of your research. Intrinsically, does it have any value? Nobody does useless research. Nobody embark on useless profession. So no matter what your profession is, everybody's profession is important to human living in our current generation. So no matter what profession you find yourself, it's a profession and you have skills that you can demonstrate that can help the United States, then you can get this green card. So don't be held back. Don't let anything hold you back. Just have confidence in yourself that no matter what you are doing, it applies to the United States. The United States is one big country, and they need a whole diverse skills to be able to move this country forward. So that is what we are looking at. And we also look at national importance. So this is what happens. In summary, intrinsic merit is just the importance of what you do, the importance of your research, or the importance of your field of endeavor. National importance, as we saw last week, is that what news in the US is currently being talked about which concerns your field. So if you're in public health, what public health generated news is going around in the United States? If you are in construction engineering, what news concerning to infrastructure? And for instance, we have a whole lot of America's housing crisis, residential homes. We have a whole lot of infrastructure deficit in America. So you may be in construction engineering, and this is your time to also make sure that you print some of this news to show that, in fact, my area is important to the United States. So national importance is all about printing news articles which borders on your research, which is going on in the United States. So it may be a news article from Scientific America. It may be a news article from New York Times. It may be a news article you will print from even government websites. These are good sources that you can print news to convince the visa officer that your research, that your professional background is of great importance to the United States. So that is one thing. So you have already realized that these are two different things. So today we are going to look at the applicability of your research. And somebody will even ask, what is applicability? Now, even before I go to the applicability, let me say one more thing. When you are printing news articles from sources to demonstrate national interest, don't limit yourself to one geographical area. You might get an RFE for that. Try and spread your news. If you look at last week's episode, some news was taken from Colorado, and other research was shown. We showed that other interests were in New Mexico and California. We were able to show interest in different states. So at the end, even if it was 5, we spread it across the US geographical area. We picked one from the northern states, we picked one from East Coast, one news from West Coast, one from Southern Florida area. Spreading it along will show that it's national in nature. Your field is national, not only limited to one city in the US, or limited to one area in New York, or limited to one geographical small area. Visa officers don't want to see that. So when you are doing this, try and spread your news across the US region. News you are taking from, pick some from New York, go and pick some from California, pick some from New Mexico, spread it along so that we know that the problem you are hoping to solve is national in nature. That is why we call it the national importance. That is it. That's why we call it national importance. So that is it. And when you come to the applicability, here you are going to look at how your field of endeavor or your professional field actually will solve specific problems in the US. So you see that there are different things. Merits, what's the importance of your research to society or the world? National importance, what news is going on in the US that borders your field? Applicability to the US, what problems in US have you identified, and how particularly your skills are going to solve that problem, or your field is going to solve that problem? That is what is it. So the applicability, that's what we are going to look at. Specific problems we have identified in the US where my research or my professional background or my professional skills is going to solve. So that is it. Now, before that we go on, I want just to take a bit of time to just look at one Q&A question. Then we just zoom straight to action and go business directly to the documents and see how this person documented applicability to the United States. So let's look at this Q&A. Somebody is saying that I'm having a membership in any professional association. Is having a membership in any professional association enough at all? A lawyer told me that being a member is not enough. I'm going to be very frank and straightforward with you. You see, whatever membership you have, it counts. You see, national interest waiver, green card, like I said from the beginning of my training series, we have EB1. The EB1A, which requires higher standards. That one, you just don't have any professional association at all. You are supposed to still prove that even in the professional association you are part, you have really done certain things and achieved certain awards. Yes, so that is where the visa officer wants to see awards you have gotten even from your professional associations. But when you come to the EB2 national interest waiver, they have lowered the bar a little bit, so that most lawyers will say that being part of a reputable professional association is enough. Okay, so people are part of American Chemical Society. They are part of it. They may not be doing anything unique in the association or with their membership, but they are part of it. They are part of the professional association. That's why when I was talking about meeting the requirements, I said that being a member is one of the easiest things you can always do. Find some association you feel to join. What it shows is that it shows your commitment to your field. If you are a geologist and you are part of a Geological Society of America, it shows that you are committed to staying in the field and you're working in the field when you come to the United States. So that is what it means. You don't necessarily with EB2 national interest waiver go extra mile and show trophies and show awards and show that even the association is a kind of let me say some great association that is very difficult. And one thing I'm going to tell you is that, listen, with EB2 national interest waiver green card, you are selling yourself, you are marketing yourself. So even if the association you are in, it was just a formality that you pay your dues and become a member, write it in a way. That's why I said this green card is approved based on how you file it. Write it in a way to show that it's not just a mere association. Exaggerate. There is difference between lying and exaggeration. Notice it, get this right. There is difference between falsifying and exaggeration. You are not falsifying here. You are exaggerating. You are marketing yourself. So though it's just some small achievement, being a member in an association is nothing. But when you are drafting it, make it look good, make it look unique. That in fact, this association, only a few that apply are even accepted. And even upon that, you have to go through some rigorous interview process. And some of them, you have to take some kind of exam or entrance exam or whatever it is. Visa officer is not going to tell us, okay, show us how rigorous or how difficult or what entrance exam you took. They don't request for such RFE. What you are the RFE, the request is if you don't provide membership in your association. And then you are going to print out a membership showing a document showing you are a member of this association. And that is it. You have proven it. Okay. For instance, if you got a funding from some place or like an organization to show that you receive funding, you don't just say that, oh, you applied and you got the funding. No. Go ahead and show that people that apply for this fund, out of it, about only 5% were approved. And I was so unique and very skillful and exceptional to the extent that I was nominated among these 5% people. So you see that it's about how you file it, how you sell yourself. That really makes the news. That really makes the difference. Okay, so take note of that. And once again, I want to use this moment to actually tell our cherished viewers that we cherish you and we kind of adore you. Keep soaring, keep going through. I know drafting a whole petition is not easy, but that is the hardest work you can always get with EB2. The forms you are going to fill is just the normality. The payments you are going to make are just normality. The difficult part is putting your thoughts together. And that is why we are here. And that is why we are serving you. Okay, so at this moment, I am going to go straight into our document and begin sharing. Begin sharing our document so that we can go through it and see what this person did to prove applicability to the United States. Okay, so let me pull this document up. And last week, this is where we got to. So last week, we just did a whole lot of the national interest, international interest and scope. And we looked at the whole news articles we printed to support all these national interest stuffs. And that is just what we did last week. If you have not watched it, please go back to watch it. Now for today, like I said, we are going to look at application of my field to the United States. How will your field apply to the United States? And one thing you have to know is that when you are drafting this side or the entire petition, you want to avoid the use of the word will. I will do this. I will do that. No. Be in the active voice. I am doing this. I have done this. I have done this. I have done that. You see, you want to state on authority that is something you are currently doing, not something you will do when we let you come to the United States. It's something you're already doing. So for instance, instead of saying, oh, my research will be preventing pollution You're going to say, no, my research prevents pollution of US water bodies. My research improves health of US citizens. My research engineer methods to be able to solve infrastructural problems in the United States. So you should be in the active mood. You should be in the active mode. Your typing, your tenses should be in the active form. Don't say, oh, future, I will avoid that. So that is one thing I just wanted to bring across. So you realize that this person, application to the United States, that is 2.3 to tell you that this is still under chapter 2. It's part of chapter 2 that we have been treating. It's a continuation. It said that the advantage of algae treatment technology is utilized in many research areas as health, such as health, pollution prevention, energy, aviation, and agriculture. Okay, so if you realize that he has summarized areas in the US where his research is going to touch. It varies from applicant to applicant. So in your own case, you are looking at your research or you are looking at your professional field and areas in the US that your professional field is going to solve. Okay, let's say you are a social worker in whatever country you find yourself. Look at the US social environment. Social workers, what do they do? Maybe you're going to help society to get maybe government programs. You're going to help the citizens to be able, or in terms of social education, you're going to help citizens or America to cut down or maybe drug addiction. You are going to help citizens. You get that? You get what I'm saying? So that is what it means. So this person's applicability, he is looking at health, pollution prevention, energy, aviation, and also agriculture. Just like we looked at last week, we took his research apart and we look at the merit and the importance of his research. And this time around, he's just picking that and applying it to the United States. That is the applicability of to the United States. So that is it. I don't want to go through this whole typing. He was just still explaining his field a little bit, talking about all the skills and some of the equipment he has been using in his laboratory. And that is what he has been doing all this workplace. I will not go into detail with it. Now, look at this. Before he started, he said that I focus my applied research on pollution assessment, microalgae cultivation and application, and algae biomass recovery for biofuel. Okay, so I think this is what is going to develop deeper, going down to prove applicability to the United States. So first, what did he say? He said that my algae remediation technology protects the Great Lakes and conserve US waters. He didn't say it's going to or will be protecting. My algae technology protects the Great Lakes and conserve US waters. Okay, and if you look at it, he began talking about eutrophication. And anybody who is in the environmental science field knows eutrophication. Eutrophication is that when you discharge wastewater, untreated wastewater into water bodies, with time the water body becomes very unpleasant and we begin to cultivate some rotten egg smell because of the hydrogen sulfide, and it makes the water lose its aesthetic value. And so if it's a water, maybe a beach side, nobody can swim on those beaches because full algae is growing on it. Some of these algae can be very toxic. I mean toxic algae. So this one is a useful algae we are using. So he is trying to use the algae to remove pollutants before depositing the wastewater into water bodies. That is what he does. And he said that his method, his skill, is going to protect the US Great Lakes and conserve US waters. If you're in the United States, or if you have been to the United States before, you know that the US, Americans don't joke with their water bodies at all. You don't just dump anything in your water body. You'll be in prison. So you see that this research is going to conserve one good ecological habitat or ecological element, which is a Great Lakes. The Great Lakes of the US constitutes about 70% or so of the entire global water body system. So I've forgotten the percentage a bit, but it's very much important to Americans. So that is one thing that his research is going to do. And what is research? How is the research going to do that? And when he said that, he explained all these things in this paragraph. So that is what he is explaining here. How his research is going to treat water to remove nitrogen and phosphorus, which causes eutrophication, so that receiving water bodies will be free from algal blooms or water pollution. Now, he didn't just end there. I said, whatever you do, try and support it with either quotes from your recommendation letters or news articles on the internet. So you see that this is what he did. He cited this whole news article that he printed as exhibits. And what is this article saying? Whatever you print to support should support whatever points you have made. So whatever news you are supporting, using here should support protection of water bodies. And let's look at this news article. He said that algae bloom is a national problem. This is a news article. So this is very strong statement. Algae bloom is a national problem. In recent years, we have seen them in water bodies as large as Lake Erie. There are personal problems near the mouth of the Mississippi River, where algae blooms strip oxygen from the water, creating dead zone that threatens aquatic organisms, okay, and other marine lives. So what did he say again? He said that they are growing threats to our environment and health. And if you get such a statement to support your point, I don't think any visa officer is still going to doubt it. This is from EcoWatch. EcoWatch is an environmental watch group, which he printed this news to support this statement, which is equally accepted, very credible. So you see, he has documented, he said something, he supported it with evidence. So evidence can be news articles or quotes from your recommendation letters, okay? Now, how is he going to solve this problem? This place is very important. Whenever you say something, write how you are going to solve the problem, because it says applicability of your field to this. He said that with my research, I innovatively apply genetically improved and useful algae to remove 80 to 90% of pollutants from the various agricultural wastewaters before they end up in US waters. The technology ensures that discharged waters into rivers pose less threat to receiving waters, the environment, and human health. Okay, so that is how he is going to solve it. That's point number one. And he didn't end there. He also used a quote from a recommendation letter. In fact, this letter was coming from a president of the American Biogas Council, with CS for Biogas. And he said that we are truly excited about the opportunity to work with RIC on this innovative approach. It could be a game changer toward reducing phosphorus loads, which could go a long way towards keeping our Great Lakes free from algae bloom. Okay, so you see, this statement is also further supporting the major heading that he's writing under it. Okay, so that is one technique, that is good techniques you use to document applicability of your research. Please take note of it, it's very important. Now, let's come to the second point. What did he say? He said that my algae treatment technology has reduced, he didn't say will reduce, has reduced the economic burden on US farmers associated with treating waste in mechanical treatment facilities. And if you look at our previous episode we did, one of the benefits was it was going to save farmers money, because these farmers have to transport their wastewater to wastewater treatment plants to treat them, and then they get charged for it, depending on the volumes of wastewater they are bringing in. So it's going to save farmers, because they can construct this thing like a pond on site, dump their waste in, apply the algae, apply some aeration to it, and remove all these pollutants so that they can freely discharge the water bodies. That is what this whole paragraph is talking about, okay? That's what this whole paragraph is talking about. I'm not going to go deeper into it. That is what the paragraph is just talking about. And he didn't end there. This time around, like he did for the first point, he also printed a news article part to support this thing, okay? To support this statement. Whatever county wastewater treatment plant, whatever it is designed to treat wastewater and whatever it is. So this is water environment protection news article he cited to support whatever he was saying, okay? And he didn't end there. He further added a quote from one of his recommendation letters. He said, I see, Mr. Did so and so research has intrinsic value for protecting our surface and groundwaters for the general good of the environment and the watershed, while saving our company thousands of dollars, which hitherto would have gone into waste hauling and state fines. Mr. Anidiba's research or algae treatment technology is considered vital, okay, to our facility, because we have been implementing this technology on site to treat our effluents from the CH4 biogas digester plant in Wyoming County, New York. Okay, so, and the person is even said that other facilities in Ohio and the Genesee counties. So you see, that is the trick. Okay, this person is using quotes and also using some news articles to support or to buttress his points. It's very important, especially if you're having low citation like this article was having. it's very important that you become very detailed with some of these things, because you are trying to impress somebody to look beyond citation numbers to approve your case. And that means you have to be very thorough. Don't rely too much on your citation numbers. At times, it means nothing. Your ability to explain your research to the understanding of the visa officer and show its importance to the United States, that's the magic. So take note of that. Let's look at another thing that his research is going to do, applicability to the United States. So we are under this. He says that my research has transferred technology to large and small farms within the United States. Okay, technology transfer. I talk about this. This can equally also go to exceptional ability. When we come to exceptional ability field, we will talk about this thing also, but it doesn't hurt to still talk about it here because it's applicability to the United States. My research has transferred technology. So what is technology transfer? Like I said, technology transfer to some companies in the US, or even if it's not directly transferring, try and find a link. For instance, you are taking data from a company. It's not that the company is funding your research, but if you are taking data from them, whatever funding you have to get will have to benefit the company. That is what I call technology transfer. You are transferring whatever thing you come out with, whatever model you come out with, or whatever structures or systems you come out with to help improve the process of that company. So let's say if you are also this particularly is applicable to people in research field. Not everything here will be applicable to you. I'm not saying strictly go by this and take everything here, try and force it to be applicable to you. No. So depending on where you are, you may be in a professional field, which that you are not doing research to transfer technology, but even who knows, maybe even in the professional field, you are doing a project. People do projects in their professional areas a lot. And let this project have some huge applicability to companies. You can equally say technology transfers, okay? Because at the end, your project is going to bring some information which will better the company you are in, or even a sister company. Let me put it that way. So take note of that. It's very important that you really know some of these things. So he talked about technology transfer to company A, and whatever he wrote here is just all about how his lab or his research is going to transfer technology to that particular company. Okay, it's very much important. Now I want you to look at the exhibit he used here. Exhibits are site installation photos. Remember I said that you can use photos provided you are documenting that you are actively doing some of these things. Maybe save samples of your work. So exhibits, remember the USCI says that you are open to a whole range of exhibits. So it doesn't only have to be citation exhibits. It doesn't only have to be letters of recommendation exhibits. It's at times printing photos of activities you have been doing or to be found doing, or samples of your work, or equally also go a long way to prove some of this applicability to the United States. So that there was a site installation photo where an algae pond was constructed on the company site, where it was ready to treat a whole lot of farm waste on the company's website. On the company's website, it was used, and who knows, it might help the application. It might play some role in it. I can never tell. Don't underestimate any evidence when filing EB2. That's one thing I will tell you. Don't underestimate any evidence. No matter how small it is, try and give it a push to make sure that it counts towards your petition. Now, he documented all these stuffs, and at the end, what did he do? Once again, he printed a news article to support it, okay? And what did he do? This news article is coming from Bioenergy Insights. Okay, and in this article, it says that my research lab has moved from small-scale laboratory experiments demonstrating the significant reduction in ammonia, nitrate, and phosphates and coliforms in municipal wastewater to large-scale experiments, both in the lab and on-site wastewater treatment plants. So this statement is proving that, in fact, his research has even gone beyond the lab and currently is in feasibility studies with companies, which is very credible. This will have, it was actually written also by one of his recommendation letters. So take note of that. And let's look at this. His research is in two phases. Remember, the phase one of this particular person's research is treating wastewater. The phase two is actually harvesting the algae after the treatment and processing them into various biofuel, bioethanol, biofertilizer, whatever it is. So that's the phase two. And that is exactly what he's doing here. So that is the phase 2 of this person's research. Okay, and that is what he's explaining here. Now, all these statements is equally supporting technology transfer to a company. So just take note of that. Now, he said that as part of his research, he will be converting the algae biomass he will harvest after the wastewater treatment into biofuel. And with that, he is also documenting or using some quotes from an article which borders on his research to support whatever he said he can do or he'll be doing. Now, he didn't end there. He also equally used this word, this statement from his recommendation letter to support whatever he said he's doing. Now, let me comment a little bit of this part. It may be that your research is being talked about in the news media before. Maybe your supervisor has written about your work before, or even the company you are in, whatever products you are bringing about have been published before, but your name wasn't there. Or the company has talked about the technology you are working on in their news outlets. If your name is not in, that is where getting a recommendation letter from somebody in higher position or from the company to support your petition comes into play, so that the person can mention that you are even in charge of such projects and you led the team into discovering that technology or working on that technology. So if your name is not in some of these news articles about your lab or about your research, try and get recommendation letters to prove that, in fact, stated by your recommenders that you played active role in some of these things. Okay. Now, technology transfer to food manufacturing industries. Yes. So part of his research is also taking data from food industries, agricultural industries, poultry farm industries. Okay. Food manufacturing. So food manufacturing also generates wastewater, and he took wastewater from some of these farms or some of these industries, and he's using it. At the end, he's going to transfer the technology to them. So it's the same thing. And he mentioned some of the food industries, the tofu and whey yogurt production industries in New York. He was using data from them, and he's going to transfer technology to them. So that is it. And this one, he used abstract of his thesis, equally accepted as evidence. Abstract of your thesis is going to give abstract. And abstract, there is applicability of your research. So it doesn't hurt using abstract of your thesis. Last week, I said that don't print your entire volume of your thesis as evidence to USCIS. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of space. Just your abstract will do. But by your abstract, we can get access to your entire printout of your thesis online, on the internet, or anywhere. So printing your entire volume of your thesis is not helpful. So take note of that. So technology transfer to food companies, and all these things are supporting technology transfer to food manufacturing companies. So he said technology transfer to company B, and this company B is just a biogas company. They produce biogas from food waste. So that is it. They digest biogas to produce biomethane. And after the biogas is produced, the sludge is produced. Sludge is just wastewater, very thick wastewater that you want to use his algae to treat so that it can become safer for discharge. Okay, so that is it. And when he stated that, this whole paragraph was talking about how he does that, he came to say by a letter of recommendation, he said that this Mr. So-and-so is going to use his research to do this or to do that, so supporting with quotes from your recommendation letters is very important. In fact, it makes your petition very stronger. Take note of that. Now, another way is technology of transfer to another farms. These farms, I can mention it, is not insensitive with it. Creha Farms is in Clarence, New York. They produce eggs in commercial quantities, like a poultry raising farms, and they produce the egg, they wash the eggs. So egg washing waste is a wastewater, and at the end, you have to treat it before discharge. So that is also technology transfer to these farms. So that is it. It's a very strong way of showing applicability of your work to the United States. What is it solving the US? Which industries is it helping them? Which areas, which government ministries are going to use your knowledge or your skills is very much important. So take note of that. He documented a whole lot of this and also printed news articles attempt to support it. One of these articles says that our primary objective in pursuing this project was to identify the reasonable options that exist for our farm in reducing the nutrient load from our egg washing and barn washing process. We care about the environment because we are in it for a long haul. We are pleased to have a multitude of options available to us. Okay, that's one of the statements made from one of these companies concerning how this guy's research is really going to help their farms. Okay, so that is it. And it's very strong statement. If you're able to get it, good. If you can't get it, get some related statements like that to support your research. And he also said that my algae technology contributes a landmark solution to the US biofuel economic impasse. So he dedicated a whole lot of time talking about biofuel. So you see, he looked at his research where importance in his research can actually be obtained into solving real world problems. And he's just looking to apply this in the United States picture. That is it. So biofuel, bioethanol. Of course, we are talking about bioethanol. This one particularly is talking about contributing solution to the biofuel and also bioethanol. All these are energy products. Bioethanol is like alcohol. Biofuel, yes, to run just like petrol or your diesel, your gas, whatever you call it. Some cars are even now running on biofuel. We have some E-series engines which have been modified to run on biofuel. So take note of that. Now, that means we need biofuel, especially right now, Ukraine-Russia war. Fuel prices are hiking. They are kind of skyrocketing. Prices of fuel is going up. Everybody's crying. When you go to the pumps, prices are high, going high. So if you have research like this, which is going to solve some or produce biofuel to mitigate the natural gas or natural energy, fossil fuel that we are already using, is also going to solve a US problem. So this guy is in the right direction, as you can see here. And what did he say? Especially bioethanol. Right now in the US, they use corn to produce bioethanol or alcohol. Now, because of that, there's competition between corn price and corn prices, because the energy industry need corn, humans, we need corn, feeding on corn to survive. So the driving food prices up. So his research is going to make sure that he takes the corn away from the equation and replace it with his algae. And he's going to get free algae because he's going to grow his algae on free wastewater that nobody needs. So it's an endless source of raw material to produce algae, which will produce biofuel. Okay, so it's a very laudable idea that this person is projecting here. If you look at it, and that is a huge economic advantage for him, because if corn is getting higher, then we can use wastewater to produce algae and convert it to bioethanol. Then that is one way of solving this problem, which is driving corn prices higher. So that is it. That is all that he explained here on this paragraph. That is all that he explained. That's why he's read that he says his solution is going to do this. So whatever you do, try and bring your solution there. What your solution is to solving that problem. So applicability is just identify the problem, looking at your research and how your research or your professional field is going to prescribe solutions to those problems. It's very important that you do this under national interest, national importance, and applicability. It's very important that you do it. So this is a letter from independent recommendation from one professor, also citing to support whatever this person is saying. And another one he printed from a government website, US Department of Energy, to also support whatever he said here. It's also documented here. On December 16th, this is an article he printed from US Department of Energy. It said that on December 15th, the US Department of Energy, and Biotechnology's office announced a funding of up to 8 million subject to appropriations for innovative technologies and approaches to help advance bioenergy and bioproducts from algae. Okay, so ask yourself, you, the visa officer, your government is pumping money into this research. Who are you to say that this is not national interest? That is one clue. Whenever looking for articles, that's why I said at times, prioritize government websites. Look for news articles which is showing government pumping money in this area and use it to support your claim. Okay, If your government is supporting this course, who are you to say that it's not in the national interest? That is the clue, okay? Take note of that. So that is one thing I can say about that side. And then you come to this side, it says that my algae treatment technology protects the regional climate and prevents global warming. Prevents. It won't say it is good, it will protect, or it will in the future. No, my algae treatment protects the regional climate and prevents global warming. Of course, this is an environmental research, green energy, green water treatment systems, sustainable stuffs. So it's climate friendly and environmentally friendly, which means no CO2 produced, no greenhouse gases produced. And at the end, every country is looking to score higher on the global climate index. So if your research is going to provide free green systems like this, is going to equally also be in the US interest. For instance, I was dealing with one of our viewers who contacted me privately. He is into construction management and he's into lead buildings, building green structures. Buildings now have to be environmentally friendly, installing systems that will make buildings energy efficient, protecting the climate. That is it. It's a national interest. So you have seen that there are various ways that you can go about this, various fields, depending on your field. You can get various or great ideas to write about. So that is one thing. And this is something from his recommendation that he took to support. And what is he saying? Let's look at it. He said a treatment system developed through his ingenuity has the capability to take up additional carbon dioxide discharge from factories through pipes. The added advantage could remove tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, thereby reducing the overall global risk of climate change. Okay, so that is it. He's talking about climate change here. So he has to get a quote from his recommendation letter to support it. That's why I always say that it's very much important you draft the recommendation letters yourself and find people to endorse it, because you know things you need to support your statements. That person who's going to write it, you won't know. So you have to draft it and look for people who can attest that indeed you have these skills so that they can endorse it for you. That is one way. So when we get to recommendation letters, I will talk more about some of these things so that you can really understand it. Now, another news article he printed to support this, something happening in Sweden, where they channel a whole factory chimneys, smokestacks, the carbon dioxide from the factory chimneys actually going into wastewater treatment systems so that the algae can absorb the carbon dioxide so that it doesn't go into the atmosphere. So at times there's a partnership, a link where algae treatment systems are attached to manufacturing plants which produce a lot of carbon dioxide, because you need some amount of carbon dioxide in the system to make it or to keep it running. So you see that it's also an additional benefit. Now, on the final note, he then came to give a summary of all these benefits that he has talked about. Okay, so this is just a summary of all the benefits he has talked about, the various points he talked about up there. That is the summary he is giving here. And when you do that, you make your work very beautiful and very convincing. Now, at the end sentence, let's look at what he wrote. He said that at this moment, hence my research has both national merit, national importance, in international scope, and even you can add an application to the US. Okay, doesn't have to add it, an application to the US. Okay, so so that is it. My research has both national merits, national importance, national and international scope, and application to the US. When you document this, at the end here, you have already certified prong test 1. Remember, the previous thing we did was advanced degree or its equivalent, or bachelor's or 5 years experience. That's what we have done. This chapter 2, the first thing we have done is the first prong test, merits and national importance. So we have satisfied prong test 1 at this moment. So you see how in your petition you are satisfying all these things that the visa officer will be looking at. And when the visa officer doesn't have any cause to give you RFE, he just approves your green card for you. So that is it. Put in the work, put in the extra time, put in the extra research to do some of these things and print out credible news to support some of these things you say you have, which is going to help your petition a lot. And at this moment, we have satisfied prompt test 1. Next week, we are going to go to the exceptional ability, chapter 3. That is prompt test 2, which means the individual, your qualifications, your skills, your exceptional skills that you have in your field, certain things you can do, programs you can run. What is it? A lot of things. Computer programs you can run, leadership you have acquired, teaching skills you have, pedagogical skills you have, research skills you have. All of them comes into exceptional ability. So I had somebody who would say, oh, I don't have exceptional abilities. I said, are you sure? I'm a PhD student. I don't have a lot of things to talk about. Do you run polymerase chain reaction in your lab? He said, yes, it's exceptional ability. Do you set up bioreactors in your lab? Yes, it's exceptional ability. Are you able to even do literature review? Yes, it's exceptional ability. You know, everybody even can run Excel regression analysis. It's exceptional ability. So don't look at exceptional ability as something so big. Take your CV right now. Write some of the skills up to now in your professional life. What are some of the things you can confidently say you can do on your own without little supervision? It's exceptional ability. So take note of that. I will see you next week. So on this moment, I hope I have really documented enough and shown enough ways of actually proving national importance, intrinsic merit, and applicability to the United States. Now, I want to talk about is that if you want to reach me, you can do so to reach me on LinkedIn. You can also find me on Facebook. Just type my name, my photo will pop up, or you can shoot me an email. If you want a one-to-one or one-on-one kind of, interaction with me, do well to shoot me a message. I'll find time in one of my busy schedules and make sure I attend to your case. Once again, my name is Daniel Aniniba. It's a very beautiful summer out there and a very fantastic holiday in New York. Enjoy yourself, chill but not freeze. So until I see you, same time next week, as I'll come your way with chapter 3, proving exceptional abilities. Thank you very much.